and good to have you with us on this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, tonight, one more time, we put the spotlight on the big farmers' protest and the tussle over the 3 farm bills. Now, 2 days ago, here on Mirror Now, we were the first to break it down for you. We explained to you what these 3 bills essentially are and why is it that farmers are protesting. Since then, a massive political fight has broken out. Harsimrat Kaur Badal of the Shiromani Akali Dal, part of the NDA, part of Modi cabinet and government, has quit as minister. And the Shiromani Akali Dal itself is now opposing these 3 bills. Now, is it simply politics that many of these parties from Congress to Shiromani Akali Dal are now speaking up? Is it because they sense there are a few farmers there who are questioning the agri policies and they see an opportunity? Or is there something specifically wrong, problematic about these 3 bills? Now remember, the government, when they announced it, when the cabinet cleared it and the ordinance was passed, they claimed these were long-awaited reforms, and they were. Essentially, many of the steps that were announced had been discussed and debated for years together. And the initial reaction from many quarters, including the Akalis, was to welcome it. But something seems to have changed in the last few months. Is it a deeper understanding of the issue of the bills, of the new laws and the reforms that is now causing some new concerns? That is going to be my focus tonight. Now, first up, let me actually tell you what these 3 bills are. These 3 farm ordinances, the first one is the Essential Commodities Amendment Act. Now, what it essentially does is it tries to break out from the regulatory restrictions that were present, from the very licensed, regulated system that existed for farmers to sell their produce. It also empowers the center to control production, distribution of a certain commodities, to keep a track on supply and demand and pricing. It empowers a center to regulate production, supply, distribution and trade, and to regulate supply, especially of essential commodities. Now, the second one is the Farmers Produce and Trade and Commercial Bill. This one allows the farmers to sell outside of the designated markets. So as you may have heard, these mandis, the APMC markets that exist, they're notified, and up till now, farmers could only sell their produce there. Now the government says the big change is that you can choose to sell where you want, not specifically at these mandis. And the third one is about Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill. That's what it's called. It allows farmers to sell produce outside of the APMC via contract farming and overrides the state APMC laws linked to sale and purchase. Some of the main concerns which are there are farmers feeling that they will not get their minimum support price, or the fact that when the big companies come in, that's going to take away their right to demand a fair price, and the big giants are going to squeeze the price out of them as they deem fit. There are also concerns about what happens to the mandis and those linked to these mandis. Are they going to lose business? Are they going to be the ones that suffer? And contract farming so far hasn't really worked, at least in the favor of the farmers. Will it be different this time? Some of the basic issues that have been raised, that have been able to understand. But if the government knew this and says they have been addressed, then why are we protesting? That is the big question this evening. Let me actually say good evening to the panelists who are joining me right now on this panel. Mahinder Singh Grewal with me this evening. Also Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress Party. Anila Singh with us this evening. Kalikesh Narayan Singh Deo with us this evening as well. And Mr. Chengal Reddy also. Mr. Chengal Reddy, let me begin with you. You've been a vociferous activist when it comes to farmers' rights. We've had many conversations, Mr. Reddy, in the past before these ordinances came out about what is it that farmers need, how do we make it a sustainable business for them, how do we ensure they get the basic income. To your mind, the scenes that we are witnessing right now in some of the states, the protests that are happening, are they justified or are the policies being misunderstood?
Firstly, I need to thank Mr. Modi for initiating the reforms. See, let us be very clear. It is not leave the question and MSP part of our side. In 1990, you brought in all the reforms in service and industrial sectors. What are the main components? Technologies, investment, free markets, etc., etc. And if you see in the last 30 years, your service and industrial sectors have grown at 8 to 10%. And why is that agriculture remained at 1 or 2%? The simple reason is there are no reforms. See, reforms per se, it's not nothing extraordinary here. See, for example, what is the big problem we are confronting in India? Productivity problem. We are one of the lowest in the world. Technologies are not available. You have rain-fed farmers. There are umpty number of problems. Now, the question here is, the reforms were pending since 1990, and again in 2006, Mr. Swaminathan gave a report. Earlier in 2000, Mr. Saraj Joshi gave a report. And both Congress has not bothered, and Modi also was not first term, he did say. Now that he has initiated the reforms, now let us look at the reforms. What is that reforms he has brought in the last few months? The first one is foreign direct investment. What is that investment? Investment is very simply today, our processing is only 6-7%. There is no investment on research. We don't have sufficient infrastructure. So whether it is FDI or something, it's going to be investment. So that reform of investment is welcome everywhere. When you are allowing investments in service and industry from all parts of the world, what is your difficulty in allowing investments in agriculture? First one. Second one, I would say, what is the difficulty? Mr. Modi also has announced this genetic technology acceptance. Technology is technology. You are now fighting to get your COVID from across the world. Recently, to fight the Chinese, you brought in equipment from Israel, France, everywhere. And you don't want farmers to get technologies. Is that? We want to preventive diseases. There is a umpty number of, you have technologies, robot technology, remote sensing. These technologies haven't come to farming. Now Mr. Modi has allowed this genetic technology. The next thing is very critical is this APMC reform. Now what is the difficulty? I don't understand. See, we are having this system, present marketing mandi system, Aditya system for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Now, what is that Mr. Modi has done? He simply allowed farmers to sell wherever they want. Yes, it is welcome. Why should what should anybody object when I want to sell my product when Timbuktu or somewhere? How could anybody object? The only question today is the MSP. The MSP today has been assured by government, etc., including the Prime Minister, that MSP is going to there. Then what is the problem? Why is that anybody is worried? I don't understand. MSP today, I have been talking to people in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Assam, and other states. Now, I would ask a question which we need to discuss. Why is that there is no protest in Assam or Jharkhand or Orissa or Andhra Pradesh? Because they are getting MSP. In the last 10, 15 years, we have able to sell our wheat and rice at MSP. You see, especially I have seen personally in Telangana in this last 3-4 months, Telangana, Andhra, 99% of rice or whatever is produced has been procured. Now, the same thing has happened in Punjab, Haryana, and other states also it has happened. So therefore, the question that comes, when I am allowed, when the only apprehension is created, there is some apprehension. I don't know who is responsible, believe that as it. But today the government has come out. So therefore, my contention is, if MSP is assured by Government of India, we have to accept it. If it is not accepted, let us see after a few months. The act has only come today. And regarding the second one is Essential Commodities Act. Why should we farmers bother? No, one second. Let me complete. Because you see, our friends from other parties. See, what is the problem with essential commodities? That is a private business. See, as far as I am a farmer is concerned, I produce, I need a price. Now, who takes it, where he does it, whether he stores it or not, if there is some problem, that is for government. That is for government to see if somebody from America comes, from Russia, China comes and stores. That is their problem, not a farmer's problem. And lastly, this Land Lease Act also. What is the difficulty in land lease? See, look, if it is for a few months, I can't make investments. If it is for 5 years, 10 years, please understand, if I had to produce value-based crops, I need to invest at least I need 5 to 10 years time. I need heavy investment. I need technologies to really bring about cash crops and value-added crops. So my personal feeling is not only these 5 reforms initiated by Mr. Modi, I would request the Prime Minister to continue this process of reforms, because for the last 30 years we have been suffering. The existing system, I would only ask everybody here is, the existing system of mandis, etc., you have not able to produce any results to us. And today the government wants to bring about some changes. Let us give them an opportunity, maybe 6 months, 1 year. See, let me tell you, as far we farmers are concerned, our own organization, I have been discussing across the country. Now, people like Madhya Pradesh and, as I told you, other states, they
So,
have
Mr.
not.
Chengal
The
Reddy,
only question. No, the only question they asked me is, Mr. Reddy,
Mr.
is
Chengal Reddy,
government
let's
is-
take
are you
it
sure
point by
about
point.
I said, yes, MSP has been assured. So we are confident. If that does go wrong, maybe we will take it after 6 months or 1 year, not now.
Okay, fair enough.
Government has
So
assured
you're
that.
saying, Mr. Chengal Reddy, that bringing in technology should not be a problem. Mr. Chengal Reddy, you're saying bringing in technology shouldn't be objected to. Bringing in investment shouldn't be objected to. Perhaps giving the farmers the freedom to decide where they want to sell should not be objected to. Perhaps the concern that many have about MSP could be a valid one, but the government repeatedly says, and we must, take them at their word, that MSP will not go away, that the minimum support price that the farmers need for what they have spent on growing a produce, they should be able to get their money back. That the government says is not going to be taken away. Okay, I take your point. Let's break it up so that we can have a conversation with others as well. So let me actually go across to Adil Singh Boparai then. Adil Singh Boparai, then what is the problem? We cannot say we have a fear of something going on which is not even mentioned in any of these laws.
Well, Tanvi, the BJP and the acolytes have a PhD in deception. Now, let me tell you what this triple whammy, which is going to destroy Indian agriculture, is really about. This is a precursor to the dilution and the redundancy of the MSP, of the FCI, and the public distribution system. This will have an overriding effects on the APMC and the MSP. Now, what this act will essentially do is that it will open up the floodgates for corporatization of Indian agriculture. It will diminish and lower the purchasing capacity and the persuasive capacity, the negotiating capacity of the farmers vis-a-vis these private players. Now, I was hearing my preceding speaker. Please tell me, a marginal farmer in Bathinda or Barnala or Sangrur, a marginal farmer, when I say marginal farmer, I mean somebody who owns about 2 acres of land, will he have an equal or a symmetric relationship when he's negotiating the price with, let's say, Reliance or the Adanis? Absolutely not. Gujarat is a perfect example of how PepsiCo sued thousands of farmers for crores of rupees. So therefore, the problem with this act is that this will create an asymmetry when it comes to the bargaining capacity of the farmer vis-a-vis the private player, number one. Number two, agriculture and markets. This comes under the state list of the 7th schedule. Here is a central government which is riding roughshod over federalism, which tom-toms about cooperative federalism, but is going that extra mile to completely destroy our federal structure. Number three, which is very critical and which cannot be overlooked, when is this happening? This is happening at a time when farmer indebtedness is at an all-time high. It is happening at a time when there is rural contraction as far as purchasing power is concerned, and you're opening up the floodgates for corporatization of Indian farmers. This is actually an insidious agenda of the BJP and the RSS to hand over Indian agriculture to a coterie, to a cabal, to a clique of private players for their suit boot friends who will completely destroy the bargaining capacity of the Indian farmer and will place them at the mercy of these corporate giants. And more importantly, if the government indeed had a sincere intention, why did they not consult the stakeholders? Why did they not consult the BKU? Why did they not consult the state governments? This is going to lead to loss of revenue for the state government. This is going to lead to loss of non-farm jobs as far as the mandis are concerned. And thirdly, Tanvi, and this is important, I would urge the BJP spokesperson to indicate this from the bare text of the act. Where does it say that when a farmer has to go and sell his produce outside the mandi, that he will not get a price which is less than the MSP? This is something which has been emphatically highlighted by Mr. Chidambaram. The moment a farmer goes outside the mandi,
so he can go and sell in the mandi.
No, please understand here. You're talking about corporates which have thousands of crores. They will monopolize the entire agriculture market. Just as they monopolize the telecom market. Do we not know how Jio operates? Just for the purposes of an illustration, they will monopolize the agriculture market. They will completely make the mandis redundant. And then even for crops where there is an MSP, these farmers will not get an MSP. They will be literally left at the mercy of these corporate giants. The choice before them is that either you accept this price or you...
Okay, let me bring in other panelists. Let's talk about some of the specifics here, and that's actually part of our angle too. The first part where I spoke about the details of the bills, and Mr. Chengal already went into details of some of those clauses. The second part is really where the opposition is, and is it a valid point to be raised. So, Kalikesh Narayan Singh, though, is it a concern as far as the mandis are concerned, or is all of this halla only to protect the APMC markets and the middlemen? I thought for the longest time everybody was saying that we need to do away with the middlemen, we need to do away with these highly regulated mandis, because that's what's breaking the farmers' back.
No, absolutely, Tanvi. I think this ordinance or the legislation as it was passed today is of benefit to the farmers. Primarily, it legalizes a practice which already happens. In states like Odisha and in fact every other state barring Punjab and Haryana, the FCI doesn't procure the wheat and paddy directly. It does it through the state's mechanism. In Odisha, it's a civil supply corporation. And what happens is that majority of the target set by the FCI gets procured by the civil supplies corporation on behalf of them. And even then, sometimes farmers have to go outside the mandi to sell, which is, in theory, illegal. What this ordinance does is it legalizes it. Now, this is not the case in Punjab and Haryana, where the entire produce is procured by the FCI directly. In fact, the governments of Punjab and Haryana actually have a charge on that procurement, in which they actually benefit in terms of revenue to the budget every year. So, even in Punjab and Haryana, there are very big middlemen forums which are actually driving this protest, in my opinion. I think, largely speaking, this particular ordinance or legislation will actually free up or legalize what's been happening in practice, and hopefully it will remove away distress procurement which happens with small and marginal farmers. Now comes the question about pricing. I think these are some very credible fears addressed by my previous speakers. There is a discount to pricing when it is sold outside the APM mandi system. Hopefully, when you have a transparent legal system, this discount or distress selling will not occur. Number two, the other fear that we have is that the FCI or the central government through the FCI will start reducing its targets as it becomes more market-oriented. Now, the current valuation of procurement is definitely higher than international prices. While our farmers are at a disadvantage with having lower land holding, less financing mechanisms to help them do a technological farming method and to reduce the cost of farming, we are at a disadvantage. So if you talk about corporates coming in and leasing land and ensuring that larger landholdings come in and more scientific methods get involved in actually farming and improving on the cost of farming or making it more efficient, there's nothing wrong. But the larger question is, where do the farmers who get displaced go? There are not enough jobs in the country to accommodate them. So while this is a good step, I think the government has a long way to go to ensure that this doesn't result in complete catastrophe.
Okay, so two big aspects, one being the MSP and the other the mandis. Now, and you're right, Kalikesh, different states and different regions, the farm market, the agricultural system is structured differently. So let's actually go across to Mr. Mahendra Singh Grewal, because the Shiromani Akali Dal has also raised this issue, Congress has, the AAP has, all parties in Punjab have made this a big issue. Why is that? Is it because the way selling and buying of farm produce is done in Punjab is very different, Mr. Grewal?
Tanvi, here is first time Maheshinder Singh Grewal, not Mahinder Singh Grewal. I must correct you. Maheshinder Singh Grewal I am. The problem for Akali Dal is...
My apologies, yes.
No, it's all right. It's all right. A problem for Akali Dal is that while all this process was going on, they formed a committee of 7 chief ministers, including the chief minister of Punjab. The government of Punjab, during those negotiations, consultations going on before the promulgations of these ordinances, never took the farming community or the people of the state of Punjab into confidence that what they are doing in those meetings. Actually, we all this came to know for the first time when the Minister of State for Food and Supply on the first bill on essential commodities informed the House that 2 meetings were held and the finance minister of Punjab represented the state of Punjab in those meetings. And then subsequently, a meeting of the secretaries of the department was also held. And Punjab government, present government, kept the farming community totally in dark that they are agreeing to all these ordinances. And what happened? When it came out, they said it's a bad bargain. Now, what happened to for Akali Dal? Akali Dal, when these ordinances were promulgated, the loan minister of Akali Dal, as I'm told, and I came to know from the proceedings of the Lok Sabha, because it's a official secret act, that our minister, Madam Harsimrat Kaur, even then objected that the stakeholders we must take into the confidence. It didn't happen. So now the government of India says that these acts, when these ordinances, when being converted to acts, is for the benefit of the farmer. But the Punjab farmers have serious apprehensions about 4 or 5 things. First, they feel that contract farming ultimately rout the small farmer, because a person, if 75% and above is persons who are less than 2 hectares of holding. Once they come to that sense that they lease out their land to the big companies and they sell out and all disengage their present equipments, and after 5 years or 7 years, the company says either we will reduce the contract money or we leave it, then where he will go? Now, second thing comes. Already there is a provision of farmers selling their produce anywhere, even outside the mandi. My predecessor, my previous speaker, said that yes, in Punjab and Haryana we charge mandi fee also, and it's about 6 to 7%. Where this money is being used? This money is used for the link roads, for the upgradation of the mandis, and for the benefit of the farmers, those who lose their limbs and other parts in process of the execution of the work in agriculture farms. We were asking only the government of India one thing, that before rushing into the bills, you must take the people into confidence for whose benefit you are making these laws. We tried our best not to rush through, and we made it very clear that if the government will rush through and will not listen to the farming community and satisfy their things, the Shromani Akali Dal will not stand with the government but will stand in favor of the farmers. Unfortunately, what is going on?
Mr. Grewal, when did you realize, Mr. Grewal, if I can ask you this question, when did you realize,
Yes.
when did your party realize that there was something drastically problematic with these laws?
Jan, when the ordinances were made, because Madam Harsimrat discussed with the party leaders that these are being promulgated, and I did raise my objection to them. We continued meeting the farmer associations. We kept on meeting the senior BJP leadership also to remove all those misgivings of the farmers, so that the people in whose favor it is going to be act must be taken into confidence. But we are sorry to say that we were not listened. We were not given even chance to explain
No,
them
so-
that.
But why is it that Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal was very vocally, in detail, clause by clause, backing these policies in the month of June? I am reading his quotes here. Everything
No,
from
I agree with
MSP
you.
to corporatization of the markets. In fact, he went on to say, why are we resorting to scare tactics by claiming they will capture the entire market when the minister has clarified that the entire government procurement will be done from mandis? Where is the point of opposition? So, I don't know if Harsimrat Kaur Badal, I know, she says, and she told me as well, that she raised her voice in the month of May, but if that was internally, we don't know.
Tanvi,
But Mr. Sukhbir Singh
Tanvi-
Badal said this publicly.
Tanvi, yes, we said it. We party considered it. But in the same resolution where we decided all these things, we also made it clear that if the farmers don't accept these proposals of the government, we will be not with the government, we will be with the farmers. Unfortunately, what happened? The Punjab government, in its manifesto of 2017, proposed all those things what the present government has done in this parliament. The 2019 elections of the parliament, Congress proposed even to the extent that if they come into power, they will abolish APMCs. But today, what they have done, see, I fail to understand. Now they are politicalizing and try to say Akali Dal has done this thing. Their own ally Shiv Sena voted for the bill and they are supporting the government. What the Punjab Congress has done yesterday in the House, they spoke and left the House. We were thinking that they will press for the division and they will see who votes for whom. But again, they didn't. Tanvi, you will be surprised to know, since you are a very seasoned journalist, that none of the National Congress leaders spoke on these bills because they have the same agenda what the present government has done. And other than Punjab and Haryana, many states are supporting this bill. So keep their party intact there. They played the double role,
Yes.
which are creating the problems.
30 seconds, Tanvi, please.
Okay, I'm going to ask, yes, I have to go to Anila Singh, but 30 seconds to Adil. Go ahead, please.
Well, with due respect to my friend from the Akali Dal, it's absolute buncombe. Absolute buncombe. That's the expression. Number one, if Harsimrat Badal was indeed so sincere, why did she not resign at the time when the ordinances were promulgated? Number one. Number two, the Akali Dal continues to be part of the NDA. Why doesn't the Akali Dal break ties with the NDA? Number three, Harsimrat Badal and Sukhbir Badal have won on a sad BJP ticket in Punjab. If they're so sincere and if they want to speak up for the farmers, they must resign and contest again. So therefore, the Akali Dal should not shed crocodile tears. They are partners in crime with the BJP. This is an insidious agenda of the RSS to completely corporatize farming in India, to open the floodgates for the Adanis and the Ambanis. And we are red flagging it again, Tanvi. This will pave the way for exploitation of Indian farmers by corporates, by the Ambanis, by a handful of corporates who owe their allegiance to Mr. Modi and vice versa. So therefore, the Congress party will stand with the farmers and we will leave no stone unturned for this insidious agenda to be defeated. And the Akali Dal is exposed, the entry is banned in villages.
Okay. Let me
Representatives are not being allowed to enter their constituencies. So
Let
that
me,
is what.
let me
says you
please.
should be
I
worried
know
about
you
that?
both have, you and your parties both have huge interest in the farmers' vote bank in Punjab. But let's just go one by one and get in Anila Singh as well. Anila Singh is yet to respond to everybody. Anila Singh, suddenly in the last few weeks, this has just come to the fore. It's only happening in a few states, not across the country. What is going on here? Are there specific issues which will simply hurt the farmers of Punjab and Haryana?
All right. Tanvi, I'm going to prove here the lies spread by Indian National Confused Party and their partners in crime. Just now, Mr. Adil, he said about partners in crime, about Bharatiya Janata Party and our allied partners. Now, to start with, I really fail to understand this political party, Indian National Confused Party, or you can say Indian National Congress. You know, in their manifesto in 2019, they had mentioned very clearly that if they come into power, then APMC Act will be repealed. And secondly, they said Essential Commodities Act belongs to the time of controls and it will be replaced. So these two things were mentioned in their manifesto in 2019, and in today's date, they are sitting here right on your panel and spreading lies that these particular bills, they are against the against the farmers. So I just want to tell you here, I just want to tell Mr. Adil as well that, of course, not Adil Sahab, this is not against the farmers, and you are talking about the corporate system, so you have to open up that what your political party did in 1991. You keep just thumping about it, that how the economy was opened and how it benefited our country. So in today's date, if farming is being opened up so that the farmers can get some benefit out of it, you have got huge problem. I will tell you what are the key benefits are going to be achieved by the farmers through these bills. It is going to give them freedom of opportunity for farmers and traders to buy and sell produce in the agricultural sector. It is going to reduce the transaction costs. It is going to give a creation of additional channels for trading on farm gates, cold houses, warehouses, processing units in additional trade zones other than mandis. What happens in mandi? Mandi is a cartel, and cartel runs by these aartis. And aartis, mandi officers, and the government, corrupt officers. So if we have to break this cartel, we had to bring this bill. And it also benefits the farmers by integrating the processors, exporters, organized retailers, and it is definitely going to give them a competitive price. So if commission agents are going to take back seats, you've got a problem. And one more thing, mandi fees will not be given by the farmers. They may sell their produce to the best person. So you are saying that big corporate houses, they are going to grab everything of these marginal and small farmers. Gentlemen, I will make you remember the year till when almost 40% of GDP was coming from agricultural sector. So this was, I think, almost for 15 to 20 years after our independence. And then what happened? Maximum 85% of farmers have become small farmers or the marginal farmers. Most of them have turned into farm laborers. Did you think about them? Of course you didn't. And secondly,
but that's a landholding problem.
No, they are saying that if corporates are going to come, they are going to grab the lands of these farmers. Of course not. And let me tell my friend from Akali Dal, sir, I heard Mrs. Badal, and she said that we are not against the bill. Sorry, we are not against the bills, but the farmers should have been updated beforehand so that some sort of agitation which we are observing in today's date wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, she might be correct in her way. She could have done it in Punjab. Instead of blaming the central government, they could have done it in Punjab. They might be having a very strong mandi system in Punjab, but at the same time, whole of the India doesn't go according to Punjab and Haryana system. We have to think about states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh also is. So I just want to say here, these bills are going to give upper hand to the farmers. They are going to be they are going to be traders. They are going to get enhancement in their financial power. So there is absolutely no reason to get worried, and do not spread lies. Please think for once from the point of view of the farmers. And if you're talking about Essential Commodities Act, I don't know, again, so much of halla-gulla from the opposition. Why? What is the problem? Do you think that some sort of stock holding will be done, and hoarders, they are going to, they hoard the produce, and later on some sort of black marketing will be done? Do you think that the government has not put checks on that? And no spade work has been done before bringing these bills?
Okay, let me. Oh, I'm hoping spade work has been done. Just the finer details may vary from state to state on how it impacts them an existing system, and therefore you are seeing a larger set of protests really coming in from Punjab, in Haryana, a very small part in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, in fact, have seen stir at a very small level. So that brings me to the question then, that Adil, is it more about the way it's structured in these two states and the fear again that the mandi system will be dismantled, and those people are the ones we are concerned about? If you had to repeal the APMC Act as you had promised in your manifesto, what would have been different?
Well, Tanvi, one doesn't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to understand what the problem with this bill is. Number one, once you make the mandis redundant and once you pave the way for private players to enter the agriculture market, sooner than later there'll be a monopoly of the agricultural chain. Once that monopoly happens, and given the vast coffers which these corporate companies and private players will have, they will make the mandis persona non grata. And that's the time when the asymmetric power equation rises. That's the time when an ordinary or a marginal farmer who doesn't have a negotiating capacity vis-a-vis the private player will be left to perish. That's the bold point in this entire issue. Number one. Number two, and Mr. Kalikesh, they also had pointed this out, there is no protective mechanism as far as the farmers are concerned in case the produce is sold outside the mandis. Now, we have an MSP system which says, let's say, for rice, it's not going to be less than 1900 rupees per quintal. Now, if that farmer goes outside the mandi and tries to sell it to, let's say, Adani or Reliance or XYZ company, there is no guarantee that the purchase will be done at a price which is over and above the MSP. This is the nub of the matter. This will diminish the negotiating and the collective bargaining capacity of the marginal farmers, number one. Number two, BJP talks about cooperative federalism. Agriculture and markets is part of the state list. I'd emphasize this. We have the Akali Dal, we have the BJD on this panel. So are we going to completely whittle down the federal structure in this country? Are we in this undeclared emergency where Mr. Modi wakes up one morning and decides to just write the systems? Are we going to allow this to happen? And is Ms. Anila Singh saying, is she questioning the intelligence of the farmers of this country? Does she think that they can be misled? No, madam. I come from a farming background. We cannot be misled. We are the iron arm of this country. The problem is the BJP, since its inception, since the Jan Sangh days, has always been anti-farmer. In 2015, you tried to dilute the Land Acquisition Act. It was because of the Congress party that you had to withdraw that ordinance. So therefore, please stop misleading the people of this country.
Well, Adil, let me just say this. If that is your charge, no party has really then managed to successfully be pro-farmer. There are some who have great strength and support of the farmers. But if indeed somebody truly had their interests and took the right decisions, the state of agriculture in our country wouldn't be what it is now or has been for decades and is only worsening, not improving. So let's not play the game about in history who did well and who didn't do well, or who actually had the interests of farmers in their mind. Let me come to the specific point of the big giants, the corporates coming in and squeezing the little farmer out. Mr. Chengal Reddy, what is your own view? Is that a legitimate fear? Few years ago, when the retail market in our country was booming and the likes of ITC, Aditya Birla, Reliance, they all came in, everybody kept saying, Mr. Chengal Reddy, that now we will go all the way to the farmer, we'll buy from them, we'll set up our own chain and we will offer it at cheaper prices to the end consumer. But that didn't happen. Is the fear about big corporates coming in large ways and squeezing the farmer then legitimate?
No. It is totally absurd. You see, basically, you must understand in any liberalized economy, you have seen in 1990, again, if you go back, I would ask this Congress gentleman, why is that you haven't implemented Swaminathan report for 7 years? What are you doing? See, all these recommendations that have come today, they were there for 7 years before your government. Why is that you didn't even bother to look into it? I mean, let me not talk to Congress. The issue here is very simple. See, you need huge investments like in agriculture. Today, look at defense sector. It is privatization, medical sector, education sector, tourism sector, infrastructure. See, everywhere it is private, whether international money, national money, black money, white money, who is bothered? See, look, this is all, don't call it corporatization as if big buddy is going to monopoly. No, this is all, these dramatizations on the TV by these political people is not up to our, I'm sorry, I don't want to comment, but I am forced to comment. See, the simple fact is, farm sector is like any other sector. You need huge investments, whether it is by corporation or MNC or Bill Gates or Timbuktu, who is bothered. We want, for example, you take research. How is it? What is happening to your defense research? What is that great thing you have done? What is that IT research government has done? What is medical research that you have done? Nothing. You see, governmental role in terms of research, investment, infrastructure has now come down. Not in India. You take America, you take Germany, Japan, or Switzerland. See, across the world, the privatization is coming, playing a big role everywhere. Right from now, you are sending rockets to moon. Also, there's also private investment. The question here is, yes, there may be apprehensions, but as a farmers activist, I have been talking to friends across the country. As far as there are 2-3 fundamental issues. Firstly, MSP. Now today, I think on the floor of the assembly, Parliament, the Prime Minister, everybody said yes. Let us accept it. Let us see for 6 months or a year whether this MSP is going to be implemented. Definitely. See, the one thing the gentleman was talking about federalism. What is your federalism? Do you know who is procuring all the material in the states on behalf of your FCI? In Andhra, Telangana, these are all local corporations. You see, there is There is a connectivity between state and central. Suddenly, don't raise about federalism. You see, here, my suggestion is this nonsense of corporatization, big me people coming, monopolizing, farmers are being, this is all bullshit, nonsense. We don't accept. I mean, this is all imaginary. I'm sorry to say. We want reforms. We want reforms. Farmers want reforms in every aspect, like you have got your service and industrial sectors. I mean, we demand it as a right today. I mean, I must ask and apologize. I mean, seek an apology from all these political parties for not implementing reforms in the farm sector in the last 30 years. Every one of them has to apologize to the farmers of this country. Well, yes, having said that, yes, they have come. We welcome them. We will try to rectify them. We will try to make amendments. Maybe let us give them a chance, maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, over a period of time when the implementation is going on. If any hiccups comes, if any fine tuning has to be done, if corrections are, definitely we'll pursue with government. But the question is straight away saying this is good, bad.
Let me ask Mr. Grewal to then respond to this. Mr. Grewal, do you want to respond to what Chengal Reddy is saying?
Yes, I first respond to Tanvi to Mr. Boparai, who was worried about a undeclared emergency. Emergency is only in the dictionary of the Congress. Those who practically put the country in emergency 1975 and stopped everything. Democracy was thrown to the wind and parliament term was extended to 6 years. They started supersession of judiciary, etc., etc. What I am now telling that Congress is playing politics. Akali Dal is sincerely supporting the farmers. What they are doing, they passed the act in which they have allowed e-trading, they have allowed private players, they have allowed purchase outside the market. This is their act passed in the Punjab Assembly in August 2017. I think Mr. Boparai needs to go to that, at least tell and advise the Punjab government if they have to say like this, what they are doing today, they first must withdraw that act, what they have done. Our concern as Akali Dal is, Mr. Chengal Reddy is saying, I first also say to something to my colleague from BJP, that it's correct that today the government has to consider not up to Punjab and Haryana. Yes, for a central government, it's essential that they must look for the country. But at the same time, they should not forget 1967, 1968, 1969, when India had no food and we were getting American food, PL18, PV18. And I think that was given to pigs in the America, and here the human people were taking that. Punjab for 20 years contributed 80% to the central pool. Even today, with an area of 2.4% of the country, Punjab is contributing 50% of the wheat to the country and 45% of the rice. Unfortunately, now with the changed circumstances, when Haryana has also started a good quantity of wheat, rice, Madhya Pradesh and other states also, then don't throw the farmer of Punjab into dustbin. Akali Dal is only asking, please don't rush through these things. Talk to the people for whose benefit you are making, as you are saying these laws. Don't crush them. Don't forget this thing, that Punjab fought terrorism also. Punjab fought Pakistan also. Today, Pakistan is not a friendly neighbor. And people of Punjab fought the borders, had the people of Punjab, mainly the peasantry, not supported the peace in Punjab, the terrorism could not have been stopped. So don't crush the people of Punjab. Listen them. You have passed in Lok Sabha. Keep it pending till you meet the unions of Punjab. Hear their grievances. If you don't find them genuine, tell them.
Well, I don't think, Mr. Grewal, that's happening anymore. Lok Sabha is going to be has cleared the bills. It's going to go to Rajya Sabha. That's where the test will be. But the BJP doesn't seem to be in the mood now to relent. They are going to go through whether the Akalis are with them or not. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I'm a little short on time. So I just want to quickly bring in Kalikesh as well. Kalikesh, you had a point. And also, my question to you was this fear about contract farming and the big giants coming in. Your view on that point as well.
Tanvi, if it's just a question of offering another opportunity for somebody else to come in and buy the farmer's produce, and it's good for them, right? It increases the competition for people who are trying to buy the produce, and hopefully the price and efficiency goes up, and hopefully the middlemen get cut out, and the farmer gets to sell directly to the retail shops or the big retailers. But as long as there is an alternative system of the APMC and hopefully the MSP, I think it's going to be a good thing. The moment the corporates ride over the entire current system of the APMC and the farmers are forced to sell to the corporate, then Adil is very correct. It's going to be an unequal negotiation and the farmers will be taken for a big ride. So as long as the government is clear, as they have said in Parliament and Mr. Modi has said in various forums, that the APMC is here to stay and the current mandi system will be here to stay, this is not a bad thing. However, there is a catch. I think, let's not forget that there is over a 1 lakh crore subsidy that the FCI takes on behalf of the government to ensure the PDS system works and the procurement system works. My fear and the fear of some of the panelists and some of the opposition party is that this is the first step to the dismantling of the APMC and maybe even pushing for moving production away from rice and paddy and wheat, and towards pulses and other cash crops. And if that is the case, and if the government is going to renege on their promise of the APMC and the mandi system, then there'll be a problem. And let's not forget, the government has reneged on promises such as the GST, where it was supposed to compensate states for the first 5 years. So we just have to wait to see how it comes out.
Yeah.
Reforms, it's needed. Land consolidation, much needed. They still have a rural land ceiling law, but they want to consolidate land through corporates and contract farming. Let's remove the rural land ceiling law also. There are a lot of steps to be taken. It's the first step. Let's hope the government takes a lot more and thinks about it.
Yeah,
I can have
you're absolutely right. There will be a lot more steps that will have to be taken to safeguard this. Now, my apologies, but I'm completely out of time, and I've also got a big interview on the other side. So, thank you so much to all of our panelists for joining us. Of course, the protest, the politics, the uproar continues. There are definitely few concerns which are there. Some of those raised here tonight, but it will have to be seen whether the government can address those. Viewers, my simple point is this. These reforms have been sought for years together. We've been speaking about doing away with the middlemen. We've been speaking about opening up the APMC market, breaking down the monopoly there. We've been speaking about giving the farmer the choice to sell where they want for a really long time, and that's come in. Now, the government says we will ensure that the farmers get the minimum support price and that those promises that have been made and already been implemented in so many states will continue. So perhaps instead of doing politics, some of the political parties should take these messages across to the farmers. If there are legitimate, smaller issues and concerns, those can be discussed with the government. And like Alikesh said, this is just the first step. A lot more needs to be followed up. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. Welcome back. Well, in a dramatic move and decision, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, who's been in the Modi cabinet now for both of his terms, resigned from a ministerial post. And she did this as a mark of protest against the government's intent to push through the 3 agri bills in the parliament. Along with the rest of her party, Shiromani Akali Dal, Ms. Badal has been protesting against this, saying we must first hear out the farmers. So in fact, let's try and understand from her itself why she thought this was the right way of getting her message across. Thank you so much, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, for joining us this evening. I want to try and understand what is it that you're trying to achieve via this resignation.
Tanvi, my request had from day one, from the time these bills were envisioned, from the time it came to my ministry for inter-ministerial comments in the month of May, where although I had to write my comments as food processing minister, but despite that, being connected to a farming state and coming from a farming family and understanding how the farmers felt about it, I even wrote in my comments at that time that the stakeholders have a lot of apprehensions and state governments and stakeholders must be taken on board before any such bill is brought. In the month of June, when I heard that it might be coming in the way of an ordinance, before it was brought, I raised it in the cabinet that there's a great amount of reservation and also anger against these bills. So the stakeholders must be consulted and taken into confidence before anything comes in, or there may be a huge farmer backlash. Despite that, it was tabled in the cabinet, and I again gave my reservations that this is going to lead to a huge storm. People on the ground are not convinced by it, and especially in states like Punjab and Haryana, where the farming infrastructure is very different to maybe a lot of the big states. It's a very robust system. These are states which are totally, like Punjab, almost totally dependent, the economy on agriculture. Even the traders, the mazdoor, the vipari, everybody is dependent, economy is dependent on what the farmer earns. So there's a great amount of resentment that these private players coming in is going to spoil the existing government infrastructure and eventually go into the hands of private players who will then exploit the farmers. So I insisted again that please do not bring in an ordinance, take the stakeholders into confidence and then bring in something which we are trying to do for their good. But unfortunately, the ordinance was brought in repeatedly during that last 2.5 months. I tried to convey the sentiments of the farmers, of the traders, of the commission agents at all levels of the government and have it addressed. But the farmers, despite all this, were not convinced by the words of either the Agriculture Ministry or the assurance that we tried to give them. And in these times of COVID, not caring for their safety and their lives, they have non-stop been out on the streets, revolting against this, raising their voice, hoping that the central government hears it and doesn't bring it in. So I was very hurt when I found that right at the start of the session, the 3 ordinances are being brought in to be passed, for which they have the majority. And I just felt that a bill which is being opposed by those very farmers who feed this nation, who are the Annadata, and they're out on the streets trying to get themselves heard. Today we push it through just because we have brute majority. My party decided to stand with the farmers, and as a minister, those very farmers who have sent me there for the 3rd time, I owed it to them. I listened to my conscience. I resigned from my post and opposed this bill. All I asked for was hear them out and take them on board, give them an assurance, make the necessary changes that they welcome this bill. We don't need a farmer agitation at this point of time.
Okay, but so you have resigned, but your party really hasn't pulled out from the alliance. You're still very much part of the NDA. Is that going to happen?
I would just like to say here that these are not decisions made by me. This is what the party core committee will get together, and the future course of action will be taken by the party. But yes, we are going to stand with the farmers of the nation and fight this and stand with them and go to whatever steps we have to go to ensure that they feel their future is secure with this bill, and it is not a bill which is harming them, but it is a bill that works in their favor, because I'm sure the government brought this bill in with that intention. But the people who you've brought it for must believe in that intention of yours.
I'm surprised that you say that you actually raised this issue first in May, and you've sent your note, you've spoken within the government itself, because I was reading up some of the comments that Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal actually made in the month of June, and he was very vociferously at that point of time backing these policies. In fact, he said there is no provision in the ordinance that the MSP will end. Punjab government has already amended the State APMC Act to implement the provisions of the ordinance in August. When multinational companies can do trade today, why are we resorting to scare tactics by claiming they will capture the entire market? Exactly opposite of what we're talking about today. What's changed since then?
So, Tanvi, like I said, that when it came for interministerial comments, where also I had said that the stakeholders must be consulted and taken on board, as should the state governments. And after the ordinance came in, also what we kept, Sukhbir and I kept raising, was that there are apprehensions in the minds of the farmers. They are not convinced. We kept being told that when the bill would come in, all the apprehensions would be addressed, which is why we had talks with all the Kisan unions and kept trying to reassure them that MSP is not going to finish. The government purchase, central government purchase is not going to end. We made the agriculture minister come and meet them, have talks with them. But the farmers were not convinced, because nothing in the bill says these things. These were all verbal commitments. And obviously, my verbal commitment or the agriculture's verbal commitment failed to convince the farmers, which is why we kept saying that please do not bring in the bill until the stakeholders are consulted, and bring in something which reassures them of this fact. But when it was brought in its way, I mean, you can't just turn around and say that for the last 2 months, all these farmers, they have no brains, they don't know what they are doing, that in times of COVID, not caring about their lives, in thousands they are sitting on the roads. You can't just say that this is, there's political people or whatever. You can't come up with these excuses. You have to give the Annadata some credit. He's obviously fearful about something that they're coming out in hordes and thousands and trying to have their voice heard. Please hear them out and please put in the reassuring things into that act so that they do not have to sit on dharna against a bill which you are doing for their benefit. They must believe that it's for their benefit. And yes, you also have to realize, maybe the officers sitting in this air-conditioned officers who have made this bill do not realize that the farming systems differs from state to state. In Punjab and Haryana, we have a mandi system which is so robust that all the other states need to copy it. And the other states have systems where even the MSP, people don't even get half the price of what the MSP is. And in Punjab, every farmer gets his last bit of, till the last penny, within 48 hours his money gets transferred. So our system, our government has invested in this. Prakash Singh Badal has, 5 times Chief Minister, has invested in creating a mandi in every 5 kilometers with all the facilities in that mandi. Within 10 days, the entire crop is all purchased and money is transferred because we have a robust commission agent system. We have a robust labor system. Now, all these are connected to the farmer. So obviously the agitation on the road is that when this comes into private hands, the labor is insecure about his future. The commission agent, who is like a private bank, for generations, the relationship between the commission agent and the farmer. If there's a wedding in the farmer's family or there's an illness or for education, no bank is going to give him money. But the Artiya, the commission agent, is not just his private bank who he keeps going to in times of need, but this Artiya also in the mandi fights to get the farmer his full price of his crop because he gets paid his commission on the farmer's crop price. Now when this agent is not there, that poor small marginal farmer, who is he going to fight with? Is he going to fight with the government or with the big private player? I mean, you say that he's going to be heard by the SDM. You know how remote the villages are? Do these guys even have a bus to their village, and do they have the means to get to an SDM and find this big officer who's like a chief minister for him? What are we talking? It's so impractical, and this is what the farmers are fearful about. So all we asked, and all I asked again and again, please hear them out, please address their concerns, please put in those checks and measures so that the farmers welcome this bill which we're trying to make for their good, and not be out on the streets opposing it, because we do not need a farmer agitation. So I'm saddened and hurt that it's being called a political stunt by some and it's being given all kinds of names. I think I have done my duty towards those farmers who have sent me to this parliament for the 3rd time, and I did not want to be part of a legislation of a government where the farmers felt that this was destroying their futures. My conscience did not allow it, which is why I resigned from my post and voted against this bill.
So very quickly, my last question is a follow-up. Many are saying that this protest is largely about this protecting the monopoly of mandis, the existing strong structures, the mandi unions. It's not about more about them than about the the end farmer, the kisan who's actually working in the field.
So Tanviji, that's what I want you to clear, because if you have this perception, maybe the central government officers had it as well. In Punjab, the mandis are run by the government. There is no monopoly of a political party or of a, kingpin who monopolizes these mandis. They are 100% run by the government, and there is a mandi tax, which probably in Punjab is the highest, which is why they've been able to invest thousands of crores in making such a robust infrastructure, be it rural roads or be it the infrastructure at the mandi, which makes the farmers, selling his crops extremely easy for him. And this exact infrastructure is what the Punjab farmer is worried that is going to be impacted by the private players coming in, which is why he feels that this bill is not in his favor. And he's joined by the farmers of Haryana, he's joined by the farmers of Rajasthan, the people of Maharashtra opposing it. And in fact, I was talking to my South Indian MPs, and if you had heard Parliament, I think across party lines, barring one or two, everybody said that they had their reservations against it, that farmers do not feel that is for their benefit. And there were a lot of things which need to be improved. You have to realize that 80% of India are small and marginal farmers. Most of our villages do not even have a transport system where they can even reach the SDM to go and tell that, you know, this big Punjipati has done this to me and not giving me my price. I mean, what are we talking? So definitely Punjab farmers, Haryana farmers are a lot more evolved. They are a lot more aggressive, which is why they're raising their voice a lot before maybe a lot of the others are. But I'm sure a lot more will raise their voice.
Well, for far too long, farmers have been ignored and forgotten here. Mirror Now has been constantly raising their issues. We even highlighted some of the clauses which are problematic. So I'm glad some of the political parties are looking at it, but I can only hope that whatever is the end result of this is in the benefit of the farmer, the Kisan in our country. Thank you so much, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, for speaking with us here on Mirror Now.
Thank you, Tanvi.